Hey DM Crafters, welcome and good to have you with me. Today we're actually building a dragon throne, and the basis for my project is this dragon toy that I got, this super cheap dragon toy. But this video is kind of more about other things than actually just the throne itself. One thing is I want to talk about using toys in your crafts. I also want to show you, I did texture on the throne with the stone texture with the sponge. I want to talk about that too. So got a couple things mixed in with this, as well as the really cool dragon throne. So let's go to the table and I'll show you what I did. Hey guys, here's what inspired me for today's project. This is just a cheap dragon toy I got at the dollar store. Now, it's not a very good model as far as like using it for a miniature in the game. It's pretty crude, but don't underestimate the value of this kind of stuff for your crafting. It can really save you time during your crafting and make your objects just that little extra oomph that really makes it cool. Once you paint it up, it'll look great. Now this would be great for like a stone dragon statue, okay? And that's partly what I used it for in the craft. Yeah, don't underestimate the value of toys. You know, hit garage sales, that kind of thing. You can get toys just dirt cheap. They're practically giving them away. And that's a great place to get inspiration or stuff to craft. I even had someone on the craft paint the Kuatoa goddess. I can't think I can pronounce her name, Boop or whatever her name is, but he made her out of a Barbie doll and with a lobster he had eaten and put lobster claws on and stuff. So it was really, really cool. So yeah, don't underestimate the value of this stuff. So let's go to the table and I'll talk about how I used it. So before the dragon comes into it, I had to construct the throne setup. So I've got the base, which is a couple pieces of cardboard on top of each other. Then I've got the back. I made two thrones out of pieces of wood. There's a block, a wood block, then a flat piece of wood for the seat. Then I had some shaped pieces of wood that I got at the craft store, and I used those for the back. And then for the arms, I thought it'd be neat to use clothespin that I cut off. They were the small clothespins, and I cut those off, and I'll move to the next step. So here what I've got the throne assembled, and I've cut pieces off the dragon. I cut off the head, I cut off the wings. I still yet to apply the arms, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some beads, those elongated green beads, to be the arm holders for the throne. And then I've got the teardrop shaped thing that'll go on the back of the throne. That'll be the holder for the dragon head. So here we go. Here's the throne all completed. I think it looks really great. Now the next step is to paint it up. So I'll base paint it black with flat black spray paint. And then before I show you, I'm going to talk about how I painted it with a stone texture. I used the sponge technique, which I've shown in another video, but I want to talk about it specifically for doing objects. Now I use the sponging technique on the throne, and I want to talk a little bit about this. Now I've shown it on a video where I sponged a tile, but when you're doing objects, you want to have a smaller sponge. So what I do is I usually take a sponge and cut it up, okay? And I've damped this sponge. It just has a little bit of water in it. It's not sopping wet. And see the shape there? It makes that easy to get in the crevices of objects with that shape. You could paint the gray on there and then get the object. So basically, for those of you who don't know, the basics of the technique is I just take a flat brush, and you can just run it through the gray, the pewter gray, but I like to just paint it on. And that gives a nice even texture on the sponge, right? And then you can just stipple it on there. Okay, so you can see that texture there. All right, so now what I do is I usually do the two-part technique. I use the pewter gray and then I use a dolphin gray for highlights. Okay, so we'll let that dry for a minute and then come back for the next step. Now that my pewter gray is dry, I'm going to use my dolphin gray and put a coat of it on the sponge. I'm just using the same sponge. All right. So now I'll take the sponge and just kind of and this will give a nice stone-like texture. Okay. So basically that's what I did with the throne. I just did, except I just used this edge here to get on in all the crevices of the throne. So some of it you may not be able to get into, you may have to hand paint, but that's the basic technique with the sponge, and this is really great. It's really fast and easy to do stone-like texture on objects. Hey guys, there's our finished throne. I think it looks really great. You can see how good that stone texture, the sponge painting of the stone texture worked on there. You can see the detail of the beads. You got the dragon parts. Look really cool as like stonework. Okay, so I'll put that down there. And then you can see here I've got the Lord and Lady. And so the scale. And they can even go on the throne. Now they're standing up, it's kind of goofy, but they actually fit on the throne, so you could put them on the throne like that. So there we go, a really cool dragon throne you can make for your games, and I'll see you next time on The Craft.
Hey you, yeah you, back here. Huh, I know it was short, but what do you expect? It was a short tip. Watch longer episodes if you want, jeez, and quit bugging me. Hey, and make sure you join the forum too, I almost forgot. Oh yeah, and have a magical craftastic day.